In 1984, a brand new game developer by the name of Will Wright released his first commercial game, Raid on Bungling Bay. It was a sandbox shoot-'em-up where you destroy factories on an alien planet. The game sold as well as a PC game did in the mid-80s, but this humble game would actually lay the foundation for one of the biggest simulation franchises of all time. With the game came a level editor, and playing with this level editor, Wright had a eureka moment realizing it was the best part of the game. And alongside that, he was gaining an interest in urban development, so he decided merging the two ideas together would make for an interesting game. However, no company was interested in funding it, not even Bungling Bay's publisher Broderbund. So Wright took matters into his own hands, teaming up with another game programmer, Jeff Braun, and the two of them created the company, Maxis. Thankfully, they could actually fund their company thanks to Hudson Soft's port of Raid on Bungling Bay for the Famicom in Japan, where it extremely outsold its PC counterpart, giving Wright plenty of royalties. With funds made and company founded, Wright set out to make that project he was dying to make. Right after this dogfighting game, Sky Chase. But after that, Will Wright began to work on that big project that would put Maxis on the map. Micropolis. Except that name was already copyrighted, so he went with the more straightforward title, SimCity. SimCity was first released for the Macintosh and Amiga computers, with later ports to the Commodore 64 and DOS, and a few others. But the DOS port is the one we'll be looking at today. Now, SimCity is a game that you cannot win or lose, and there's no ending. As expected, you can understand why publishers would be a little concerned funding and publishing a game like this, but in hindsight, that was the best aspect of SimCity. Building a city on a big plot of land, starting with only a power plant and a few residential zones, and seeing it spawn into a flourishing city with many neighborhoods just gives you a great sense of satisfaction. And since this is a simulation, you can put whatever you want, wherever you want, as long as you got the cash. Parks, railways, seaports, airports, sports stadiums, these all go into your taxes, which can either lower the budget of certain departments or raise the percentage to cause gentrification. You can even get an evaluation to see what the people's biggest complaints are and see how you can fix them. And let's not forget the fun part. Disasters. Nothing like building up a sizable city and then have Godzilla come in and wreck the place. This option is so iconic, both the monster and the tornado was put on the box art for the game. And there is the option, if you want a challenge, you can play one of the few scenarios where you need to have a city reach a goal in a few years, usually with a disaster happening right as you start. But I never cared for that, I'm fine with the main game itself. With this one game, it turned Will Wright from a nobody publishing some random shoot-'em-up to one of the most popular American video game designers of all time. SimCity managed to sell 1 million units by 1992, and another 8,300,000 between 93 and 99, where it still remained popular even with sequels being released. And when a PC game gets popular, you can expect expansion packs. The first was the City Terrain Editor. The original game just gave you a random plot of land to work with, but with this you could terraform the land to your liking. And then came the SimCity graphics sets, based on ancient cities and future cities like medieval times, the Wild West, and even the moon. Because why not? But popularity was not only in the computer geek crowd, as it managed to become a staple of classrooms and schools and even colleges, where it was used in urban planning and political science classes. Even a newspaper in Providence, Rhode Island invited the candidates for mayor in 1990 to play a simulated version of Providence for a story in the paper. It won a lot of awards in '89 and led the groundwork for more games to be designed around creating and not destroying, like Caesar, Theme Park, and Maxis' follow-up games Sim Earth and Sim Farm. However, does that mean the original SimCity is worth playing today? At least this DOS version, as it was the only one I could emulate? Why not just review the sequels that are more beloved? SimCity 2000, SimCity 3000, SimCity 4, or SimCity 2003... or SimCity 4? Well, I'll agree with you that this DOS SimCity is not the best game around nowadays. Mainly getting the screen to scroll is a hassle, you can run out of money fast, so you'll just be sitting around waiting for a decent amount of cash to come in. So yeah, to make it simple, no, I don't think SimCity DOS is worth playing today. I heard that the Amiga version is probably the best PC port, however, there is one port that I consider the definitive version, and it isn't on a computer. Oh yeah. In 1991, Nintendo released their version of SimCity for the Super Nintendo, and by the time of the American console release, it was a launch title for the system. Maxis laid the groundwork for SimCity, but Nintendo improved on it. Even just starting off, you can choose from 1,000 different terrains of land compared to the original, which was just a random generator. And then when you enter, you get to listen to one of the most blissful, calming, and all-around relaxing SNES soundtracks. You feel all your stress leave as you begin to create your city. The mellow music sets the mood, much like a huge plot of empty land would convey. And as the city gets bigger, the music is more vibrant, like a city becoming more robust. Also an improvement, scrolling is a lot better and smoother, which is a big plus, and you have a little advisor by your side as you play named Dr. Wright, designed after Will Wright himself, although I don't remember him having a green butt hairdo and a Hitler stash. Honestly, having a little character by your side when you play a game like this is actually a lot more engaging than just a wall of text telling you what's happening, especially when he acts like a cartoon character. And if all that isn't enough, Nintendo added in special buildings you can set once you reach a specific requirement, like casinos, amusement parks, and libraries. Plus, if you run out of money, you can head on over to the bank to get a loan that you'll pay off in a few in-game years. Plus, having a visual bank adds a bit of flavor to your city. And since Nintendo made this port, Godzilla was replaced by Bowser himself. And if you can manage to turn your village into a megalopolis, you can get a statue of Mario to put in your city. Hell yeah. The only problem with that, however, is you need to reach a population of 500,000, which will take a lot of time. A lot of time. You start off in the year 1900 and probably won't reach that goal until 2150. And I made it to, Yeah, SimCity's greatest sin is that it's a game that can take a lot of patience to get through just a few hours in. Even in this SNES port, you can run out of money in no time, even with the bank. So you'll just need to sit around as the next year rolls around. Hope you have a book or your phone or another game on standby. Yes, I do see the irony. There is a secret money code to get almost $1 million, and even with that, it still won't make the challenge easier. But you know what? SimCity's biggest appeal to me is not some Mario statue. It's building a city and see it prosper until I get bored and then unleash all the disasters to see it crumble to the ground. As said before, SimCity is a game with no intended goal, meaning if you only want to spend a few in-game years and then blow it all away, then let it be. But if your goal is getting the Mario statue and the final goal of 500,000 people, then more power to you. I can't tell you if any of SimCity's sequels are better because I haven't played them yet. The most experience I had was with the SNES title, but I've seen gameplay and I can tell. The future gave SimCity more flavor compared to the 1989 original. But with that, the original is probably the most unique of the main series, and even if it feels a bit outdated, its legacy is still recognized by people like Sid Meier, who called it one of the most innovative games ever made, and by news outlets like the New York Times calling it one of 10 of the most important video games of all time, alongside titles like Super Mario Bros. 3, Zork, Tetris, and Doom. And with that, I can call SimCity one of the greatest games of the 80s. Hey, thanks for watching the first installment of my series looking at games from the 80s. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please check out the last two videos I did, which were from my 90s series, Super Mario World and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And if you would like to see more 80s episodes, give me some requests for some 80s games. I'll see you next time.